from Claude, from all sorts of different AIs. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So one of the biggest here is that AI Studio has completely changed in its layout. So you can see here now they've added this new tab inside Google AI Studio, and you can get free access to generate media with all their different models, including, for example, image gen, Veo, and Gemini image generation. So this is an awesome way to generate images. You can get access to it at aistudio.google.com. It literally just came out like a few hours ago. You see the announcement right there, less than 12 hours ago. And Logan said, say hello to the new generative media experience in Google AI Studio, bringing together Veo to Gemini 2.0 editing and now image gen with more to come. And these are all free to try inside AI Studio and ready for devs to build with in the API. So for example, if you want to use one of these, like let's just click on this, we wanted to generate a video with AI 2, we can just plug in the image that we want to animate. Then we can say like create a video with an image, cute creature, blah, blah, blah. And then from here, we can start generating the example, right? So if we click run, like so, the prompt is queued and the generated video will appear there shortly. We can try another one here. So if we upload a image, let's upload, for example, a thumbnail of me. We'll take, for example, let's have a look here. We got maybe this one right here. And let's say animate this image to video. And it's pretty simple and easy. And again, you can get free access to these inside AI Studio. Seems like you can run multiple different generations at once because it does take a few minutes to generate the videos, etc. And you know, you can also see here we've got Gemini image generation. So if you want to use Gemini image generation, that's pretty straightforward as well. So inside here, for example, we can select what we want to use. So let's click on that. Show me a picture of a majestic horse running on the beach. We'll hit run. And it says, right, I'll generate an image of a powerful dark-maned horse galloping along a sandy beach at sunset with the ocean waves splashing in the background. And then we've got the example of the image right there. Now, if you want to switch between the models, you can do that like so. So you can switch between, for example, Gemini 2.0, flashlight. We've got 2.5 preview. But this is the one with image generation, right? So it's Gemini 2.0 flash preview image generation. It's inside the Gemini 2.0 section. Pretty easy to get to. And then you can generate multiple images if you want for free directly in here. Here's the video ready to go. So if we click on play video, I'm just going to mute this just in case that sounds. There we go. I mean, pretty decent to be fair if we play that. Very, very realistic, isn't it? I mean, not very realistic, but it looks like a, you know, a genuine cartoon or something like that. Let's have a look at this one. I don't know if this is going to do anything. Wow, that's crazy. Just watching myself get animated here. That is so weird, isn't it? Obviously, you could sync some audio to the top of it, but you basically created like a AI avatar speaking version of you, which is pretty crazy. You can download that. You can export it to Drive. Pretty simple and easy. So image generation, video generation, image to video, whatever you want. You can do it inside the generate media section of Google AI Studio. You see a bunch of other prompts right here. So for example, animating images, even like drawing as well. So you see here, if we have a look at this prompt. Here's an example. So they've said, draw an intricate, picturesque pencil sketch of Douro River Quintas with terraced vineyards using soft and sketchy lines, blah, blah, blah. Right, and then it's gone off and done it, like you see. And then it's generated the colored version of the sketch as well. So when we look up, sometimes says, I've just started watching recently. I've been trying to find the best AI to produce a website from a prompt I have every time I've attempted to make an archive to deploy it on my host, it fails. Yeah, so you can just like deploy it from Bolt.new, right? Like that's the easiest way if you're struggling with this stuff, if you're not that technical, or if you're new to it, then you can go to something like Bolt.new, and then inside Bolt.new, you can deploy whatever you want, right? So if we go back through my previous examples, let's have a look at this SEO keyword tool. like this. So if you want to deploy it, just click on deploy in the top right. And then you can deploy it to Netlify, right? So as long as you got the website ready to go, just use something like Bolt.new. It sounds like you're probably struggling with it or you're new to it, something like that. So if you're struggling with this stuff, simplest solution is always the best, a CAMS razor, and you can just deploy it like so. And if we click on this, boom, that's how easy it is, right? So if you want to use this stuff, that's how you can do it. So let's keep going now. The next thing that we're going to come on to is the new Claude update. So let's run through this. I'll pull it up for you in a sec. So if you're a big fan of Claude, you're going to like this. Basically, there's rumors of a new Claude update that's coming soon. Essentially Claude 3.8. So you can see some example tweets right here about it. There's actually some screenshots of Claude Neptune in testing. This is a tweet by a testing catalog. And they basically said Anthropic is running safety testing on a new model called Claude Neptune. Now, bear in mind, Claude, the latest release is on Claude 3.7. So this is potentially a new model called Claude Neptune. Now, Neptune is the 8th planet from the sun, right, in the solar system. And so, like, people are saying this is potentially going to be Claude 3.8, which could be quite interesting as well. So, in any case, a new model called Neptune has appeared. People are talking about Claude 4 coming out. And Dario Amodi said in his last interview that Claude was about 6 months away, Claude 4, something like that. So it's pretty interesting. This is Dario Amodi, CEO of Anthropic, the maker of the Claude series of models. And on this article, he's talking about, when the new Claude 4 will get released. So it's going to be interesting to see this. Now, this is an awesome article by Cursor IDE, as you can see. And essentially, they're talking about Claude Neptune being in final red team testing until May the 18th. So you can see an example of Claude Neptune, what it is, etc. I've actually got Genspark to create a report, which we'll run through now. But basically, people are saying that Claude Neptune is going to be Anthropic's new model. So it's undergoing like red team testing. It should be getting released later this year. People are talking about it being ready as soon as late May or early June. And this timing is designed to strategically compete with, for example, OpenAI's rumored GPT-5 and Gemini's Ultra updates. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out, what happens next, etc. I'm excited to see if there's a new update. I think that Claude usually does some of the best updates in the world. I mean, like when Claude 3.7 came out, it was an absolute game changer, 3.5, etc. But the world is moving so fast now. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think Gemini 2.5 Pro is absolutely smashing it and competing with everyone. But it's going to be interesting to see what comes up next. Good one to watch is testing catalog on Twitter. And also, you can just keep an eye on Anthropics. They've also got a subreddit, Claude AI, as well. And I would imagine that I don't think it's going to be like Claude 4, because they don't seem to release like Claude 4 updates or Claude, big steps forward. It's usually like 3.8, etc. And if you want to see like the timeline here, here's an example. So you've got Claude 3 Haiku, Claude 3 Sonnet, Opus, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and then Claude 3.7 Sonnet potentially coming over there. So interesting times, peeps. So what I'm going to show you is an easy way to basically scrape anything with NA10. So you can see this is an example web scraper that we've built. And if you pull up this example right here, you can actually see that we've scraped 50 dentists. And you can do this for free. I'll show you how in a minute. With all their details, you know, like what their, you know, their phone numbers, email addresses, etc. And then we've actually blasted that over to a Google Sheet, which you can see on this example. And here's an example of the data that we scraped directly from Google Maps. Now, it doesn't have to be from Google Maps. It could be from, like, I think there's like thousands of platforms on the app that I'll show you in a second. But essentially, if you want to quickly scrape data for free, and then plug it into a Google Sheet automation, like you can see, you can easily do it with this web scraper AI agent. Now, I've actually included the template for free inside the AI SEO Success Lab, so you can get the scraper agent directly inside the AI SEO Success Lab. If you want to get free access to it, just import the JSON, as you can see down here. We've also included links to all the relevant resources. And let me show you exactly how this works and how to set it up step by step. So essentially what's happening here is we're running a HTTP request, and then we've plugged this into something called Apify. Now, Apify, directly inside the Apify store here, they have something called actors. Now, actors are like basically pre-built agents for web scraping and AI automation projects, right? So you can get an API from any of these different models, and then you can plug that into NA10 and use this to build stuff out, right? So as an example of that, I actually took the Google Maps scraper, like you can see, and then plug that into NA10 to create this automation. Now, you may say, okay, is this free or not? So we actually get free usage, and I rinsed it this morning, and it's only cost me 41 cents, and you get $5 of free usage that resets every month, right? So you can do this for free. It is a scraper. You can get the data, and then you can plug that into a Google Sheet automatically. You don't even have to map out the fields. It's incredibly easy. So you can see here I mapped it automatically to a Google Sheet, and it's absolutely insane that you can do this, right? So if you want to see exactly how to set this up, let me show you. So I'm just going to zoom out here, and I'll set it up from scratch as an example. So let's say we want to set up the scraper. So we're going to click on HTTP request over here. Then from here, we're going to select post. And what we need to do is select whatever we want to scrape from these actors inside the Apify store. Now, if you're wondering, okay, which one do you want to use? Well, it depends on your use case, right? So, for example, if you wanted to just get some details of local leads, then Google Maps would be great. If you wanted to, for example, scrape Instagram and get like the latest viral posts, you could use the Instagram scraper. There's so many different apps inside here. It's absolutely wild. Facebook comment scraper even. You've got, for example, like LinkedIn profile scrapers. Really, really powerful for lead generation, but also just for scraping data and building stuff from the web, right? Even like, for example, getting ideas for viral content from TikTok and places like that. So, for example, if we go over to Google Maps like so, and then what we're going to do from here is we're going to type in whatever the search terms are that we want on Google Maps, right? So let's say, for example, we wanted to search locally inside the US. Well, we could select our city and location over here in the location section. Then inside the search terms, we can select whatever we want. So for example, we could select restaurant, and then here you get to choose how many places you want to extract from the data, right? So for example, do you want to extract 50 different responses or 30 or etc., right? Obviously, the more responses you use, the more API credits you're going to use in your free usage section here. You can also, for example, choose whether you want to use like Google Maps listings and all that sort of thing. But the point here is that you can scrape almost anything you want using these free agents. And the cool thing as well about NA10 particularly is that with NA10, you can self-host this and then it's free as well, right? So then at that point, you're not paying for NA10, you're not paying for Apify, And yeah, all of this is pretty free. So it's really simple and easy. So for example, let's say we want to search restaurants in New York. I don't know, something like Chinese restaurants, right? Let's say you're a lead gen agency targeting Chinese restaurants. Well, we can take the information like so. And then from here, we're going to go to the API section. So let's go to the API endpoints. And then from here, we're going to get the run actor section. So let's copy that. As you can see, we're going to go back into the HTTP request. We are going to also make sure we select post. Instructions inside the AI Success Lab if you want to get free access to this stuff. So put the URL, method equals post. We've got the information right here. And then we just need to make sure that we've got the details plugged in like so. And also just make sure here that you've selected send body, right? So send body, JSON, and then using JSON, right? Now from here, go back to Apify, X off that, and then go to the JSON section. And inside the JSON section, you can just copy this code over here. And you can see here I was selecting Chinese restaurants and it's scraping 50 places inside the US, right? Now, by doing that, you can see all the different search filters that you've got inside here. It's just like a Google search or like using any sort of filter, but the difference here is like you're scraping data and you're scraping live data like you can see. So then you're going to take that JSON like you can see, copy that, plug it in here, select JSON, using JSON, send body, post, and the URL. We'll test that step. And you can see that has worked perfectly. All right. So once you've set that up, then what you can do is add another HTTP request. And inside this section, you're going to keep it as get. So make sure that you select get here. And then for the API, you're going to go to API endpoints. And then from here, you are going to select get last dataset items. So if you go to get last dataset items, we'll copy that. We'll go back to the web scraper, plug this in as a URL, hit test step. And one thing we just need to do here quickly is just check on the runs, which we've done. And then you can see an example right here. So we just execute that workflow as an example. This is for the dentist workflow, but you can see an example of how it works step by step here. So let me show you from scratch right here. So we've got get, then we'll get the API endpoints, scroll down, get last run of dataset items, plug that in over here, hit test step, boom, there we go, right? If you want to change the endpoints, you want to change the filters, etc., let's go back to Apify, Google Maps Scraper, go back to manual, then change the search. So let's say, for example, SEO agencies, we want to scrape something like that. We'll plug this in, we'll search in New York, 50 places to extract, grab the endpoint, get the run actor one, copy that, go back to NA10, insert that into the first HTTP request, post, URL, send body, JSON, using JSON. And then obviously if you change any of the filters, then the JSON changes as well. So just copy that like you can see, go back, delete that, plug that in, hit test step, make sure it works. Boom shakalaka, that's working nicely. And then you can see all your previous runs over here. You see what we're doing, how we worked, how much it cost, right? And you can see this is finishing scraping, right? So what I would typically do if you wanted to run this from scratch, then you can add a new section here, wait 22 seconds before you go ahead, and then that will just allow the website scraper to scrape and complete scraping before you move on to the next step, which is this one. And again, we'll just test that step, and boom, look at that. We've got all the internet marketing services and SEO agencies in the local area of New York using that process, right? Really simple and easy. Now, if you want to clean this up, keep it all neat and tidy, you can click this button for tidying up in the bottom left. And then if you want to add a new module, let's say you want to send this to Google Sheets or whatever, we can add Google Sheet section here, append to row. So we'll click on append row in sheet. And then inside this section, we can search dentists just for my random template. Then inside here, we'll update that sheet. And you get an option here, which is map each column manually or map automatically. So I'm going to map automatically, just save a bit of time. And basically, we've got all the headings inside the spreadsheet mapped to the Google Maps scraping search, right? So what you can do here is if we click on test step now, that's going to send all this information inside the Google Sheet. You can see it's all been appended to the spreadsheet. So we've got, for example, all these SEO agencies inside New York from Google Maps listings. And we're living the dreams, my friend, right? Now, let's say, for example, you wanted to take this information and then, for example, do some outreach. Well, there's a couple of ways you could do that, right? You could take the information from the spreadsheet. You could go over to ChatGPT. You could say something like, okay, create a short, funny, personalized email to this person from my SEO agency to sell white label link building to them, right? Something like that. I'm going to use GPT 4.1 because that's what I tend to like the most. And now you can see he's created an interesting outreach email template based on the personalized details of that lead, right? So for example, here it said, let's millionify, right? And Millionify is the name of the agency. Even more, Millionify with easy link building, something like that, right? So I hope business building. I'm Julian Goldie, founder of agency. How many tabs do you have open right now? If the answer is too many, you don't need another thing on a plate. Here's how we can help you. Millionify plus our links equals your client's ranking, your margins laughing, and you're finally having time for lunch, blah, blah, blah. So if you want this, here you go. We can insert our calendar link, boom, right? So that's one way to do it. The other way you can do it is like, for example, you could go inside, this is super interesting. You could take the information like so, get an AI agent, right? Then we can define this information below. We can take all the information from the Google Sheet. All right, so for example, the title, the address, etc., the website, like so. And then we can add a ChatGPT agent. So OpenAI chat model. We'll select GPT just for now. And we can take the information from Google Sheets and send that to the AI agent, right? Now, if we stop that workflow, we can now tell the AI agent with a system message, you are an outreach assistant helping me write emails for my leads based on the information in the prompt. All right, and we've put in the address, the website, the title. We could put the neighborhood as well. What else could we put? I think that would be it, to be fair. Category name maybe as well you want to include in there. Right, and then you just label these. You put like title, for example, here. And this is basically taking the information from the Google Sheet about the lead. And then using that to just automate the outreach, right? So for example, if we say, okay, lead details here, there we go. Based on the information in the prompt, write a nice personalized email, right? Something like that. Then we can go inside the chat. We just need to make sure that's working. I think it's going to be okay. So let's just test that workflow. And then you could chat with the AI agent and just use that to get responses, right? So if we delete that and then we add a new node here and we'll put chat trigger. And then you can see it's taking the information from the Google Sheet right in the email based on this, right? Pretty simple and easy. Boom. Now, if you want to get access to all the templates, etc., just go to the AI Success Lab. It is free. Link in the comments and description. You can get free access to this. Go to the classroom, go to the AI course, and then you'll see the latest module right here with the NA10 scraper agent details. And you can just download this JSON file, like you can see. So we can click that, download it. Then we can go back over to NA10. Just going to hit save. We'll exit that. We'll open up a new workflow. And we shall import the template that I've given you for free. So let's import that from file, open up the web scraper, and there you go. You got the web scraper ready to go. Obviously you need to plug in your own details inside this, but it's quite easy to set up. Super simple, doesn't take much time at all, all right? But basically, it's one of the most powerful ways to do lead generation and automate it with AI, right? Because if you combine the AI agent that we've built with the web scraper, you can create personalized emails. It's really simple, doesn't take long at all. And you can do it inside the chat nodes like so, right? Now, if you want like personalized coaching on this sort of stuff, if you're struggling to implement it or you're struggling to actually get it loaded into NA10, etc., then you can actually go to the AI Profit Boardroom, which is basically like an upgrade from the AI Success Lab, right? So it comes with all my best automations, workflows, templates, AI agents. But the most important thing here is you get support, right? And I would say that's the biggest thing is like you want to be in a group of people that are learning AI, learning with you, growing with you. You can jump on weekly Q&A calls. We're actually increasing this to 3 calls per week, which is going to be super interesting. So we're actually going to be launching coaching calls 3 times per week inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments and description. And you can get all the support you need from the DMs, from the community, from the weekly coaching calls, and the classroom modules inside here. So if you really want to learn and implement this stuff, I would recommend the AI Profit Boardroom. But if you want to get it for free, you can get it inside here. Feel free to get it. Let's try another one now. So we're going to try and build something with, for example, TikTok. So I'm just going to go back. We'll save that. Exit here. Create a new workflow. And I want to see what you can build with, for example, like TikTok. So let's put in a HTTP request here. And let's say we want to scrape TikTok. We can do that. In fact, let's try Twitter just to mix it up. So let's say we're targeting like content around AI agents. We want the latest content, maybe like the top 10 tweets. Then we can do that like so. We'll grab the API key. So grab the endpoint over here. We'll copy that. Go back in here. Post URL here. Then inside the send body, we'll select using JSON. Then we'll grab the JSON over here. I'm flying through it now because I've already shown you how to do this stuff. We'll copy this, go back in here, plug this in, hit test step. That's running now. And then from here, all we need to do is just add a new HTTP request. And what we're going to do from here is just post. Grab the API key, so the API endpoint's in the top right. Run the last run of dataset items. Plug that into the URL over here. And then we're pretty much ready to go, I think. So we just need to click on get. So you can tell which one to use by the get over here. Then we're going to click on test step. Boom. There we go. We've got all the details from the API run over here. You can also do this, for example, for TikTok, for Twitter, whatever you want. If we just stick to social media, for example, let's see what else we got here. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as well. I think this could be great for YouTube. Facebook comments, Facebook groups, Instagram, YouTube video downloader, which is pretty crazy. Reddit scraper. Like, there's so much you can do with this, you know, to find like trending topics, to find viral ideas, etc. Channel scrapers, whatever you want. Even Discord. It's crazy. And again, this was all completely free. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to all the automations that I've shown you today, including the instructions, I also added an recipe inside here for the step-by-step instructions based on today's transcript. And also if you want to get the automation template example, plus if you like this stuff, you'll also find that we have a shorts automation, a social media automator, all sorts of crazy stuff inside the AI Success Lab. And it is completely free, my friends. Plus we're giving away new crazy stuff daily. Like you can see right here, we give away a ton of stuff inside the AI Success Lab. So if you're not in that, you're missing out. And if you want awesome support, coaching, community, if you want to meet a cool bunch of people and get as much value as you possibly can, then make sure you join the AI Profit Boardroom. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. So we're going to be looking at the world's first agentic download agent and AI drive. So basically with one prompt using Genspark, which is an AI super agent, you can now basically download whatever you want, right? And this is a brand new feature. So for example, this is crazy. I said to Genspark here, download all the files on Julian Goldie's About Me page. It was like, right, I'll help you download files from his About Me page. Here's the information. We're going to search for him. You can actually see what it searched through and how it's got that information right here. You can also see an example. And basically what this is doing is just scraping all the internet information about whatever you've asked it to do and then downloading that information, right? So you can see here it says file successfully downloaded. Here's some examples. And then actually if we go inside the drive here, so this is the drive that Genspark created, we can see that it's downloaded all these files about me, right? Now it's pretty cool because you know, you can download. It doesn't have to be, for example, files or images. It could be reports, it could be information, it could be white papers, etc. Here's another example. So I said to Genspark, download all the latest guidelines from white papers from Google about the future of search, EAT, etc. It started Googling, finding information about me. And then you can see it says here, downloaded file. And then if we open this up, boom, we've got the PDF ready to go right there. I just realized that some people say we still see NA10. All right, thank you for the heads up. There's some technical difficulties when you're doing live streams. I'll tell you that for free. We'll come on to that in a second. I just want to check something here. All right, let's redo that. So today we're going to be looking through the world's first AI agentic downloader, right? So basically what Genspark can do now, which is like an AI super agent, it can basically go off and download files off the internet. That could be white papers, reports, even images, even music and crazy stuff like that. I think it can actually do. Use it responsibly because it is crazy as a scraper what you can do, and you have to agree to some terms and conditions before you get access to it. But you can see here, it's basically taking that prompt that said download all the files on Julian Goldie's About Me page, and then going off on the web and researching all the information about me and grabbing those images, right? So for example, if we scroll down here, we can see the finalized images. So it's downloaded these files, and basically this is like a AI agentic drive where it's downloaded all the files about me and then stored them online, right? So you can see this folder that it's created, downloaded these files. Literally all we said was just download all the files on Julian Goldie's About Me page. It went off and did it. Pretty crazy right there. So it can scrape the web, scan through everything, find images of you, get them from your website, download them onto a Google Drive. Literally, it was just launched a few hours ago, like you can see. And additionally, here's another example. So I said download all the latest guidelines from white papers from Google about the future of search, EAT, etc. It's like, right, I'll help you download the latest guidelines. Here we go. It started using the search tool to look for information. Then it searched for the Google Quality of Rater guidelines. And you can see how it downloads a file here. So here's an example of the file it downloaded. If we actually go on My Files, it will open up a new tab, as you can see, and we've got all the information right here about us and what we do, etc. Right? So pretty powerful automation right there. Really easy to set up. You can see an example of the PDF that it's downloaded. And these are the details, right? Crazy stuff. And then, you can download that, you can have a look at it, etc. So if we open this up, there we go. So you can download PDFs, reports, etc. all inside Genspark. Now, Genspark is like an AI super agent. It's got a lot of other cool features, but this is one of the best ones that I've seen actually so far. It's one of the most useful because, for example, quite often you're kind of stuck. If you were using something like ChatGPT, you're kind of stuck inside the confines of ChatGPT and what it can do. Whereas inside Genspark, it's a lot more autonomous, right? I mean, not only can you create like presentations, slides, create videos, do outbound calls, but now you can also download reports and stuff like that. So for example, if we check out the AI SEO Success Lab, I've actually included 100 examples of what Genspark can do right now. So for example, we could say, right, download all public domain specific articles about nutrition from PubMed Central, for example. If we go inside Genspark, we'll open up a new chat, we'll set up that prompt, we'll hit enter like so, and then it's just going to go off and start doing its magic. So if we stop that, it said it's going to be a massive undertaking. So I'm just going to say, okay, just do 3, right? Just do 3 as an example for the purpose of this video. Is thinking about it, it's like, right, I'll help you download 3 public domain scientific articles about nutrition from PubMed Central. Let me search for relevant nutrition articles that are available. And then it starts doing searches with the keyword PubMed Central. So it's interesting now because not only are you automating downloaded files, not only are you getting this super agent to just go off and do stuff for you, but also you're even automating the way it searches, right? So it's searching for you and figuring out what keywords to search inside its tools, and then it goes off and downloads the files. So for example here, it's summarizing the information, getting the information, and then we can check back on it in a minute. Now, you can also have multiple different tasks running at the same time. So for example here, we've got multiple different tasks. So you can do like 2 different research tasks in different tabs as you go along as well. You don't have to just stick to one, which is quite cool as well, because then you can build like an army of agents across all your tabs and do different stuff along the way. And then if you ever want to check back on your files, you can just go to this section over here and you're good to go. If you click on download for me as well, you can actually paste a HTTPS link or tell the AI what to download, right? So for example, if I say, okay, download the latest guidelines from Google's update, AI search update, something like that, we'll click confirm. It will start a new search now, looking for things to download, right? Super powerful. And this is the only AI that I actually know of that actually does this stuff. I mean, they have announced that it's the world's first agentic example. And you can see how it works right here. So this example from Genspark, they basically said, like, you know, this LinkedIn article features top AI papers of the week. Go off and download all the reports, all the example features. So it's got 10 research papers inside the document. And then it starts downloading them automatically. So you can actually like look through articles, see what's referenced, and then from there start downloading things. And it also organizes the files for you. So you can see, for example, it's creating this AI drive and then downloading them step by step. So whilst we're waiting for that to load, let me show you some other stuff that Genspark can do. So we've actually got a full module inside the AI Profit Boardroom with like full training and everything else. But you can see some of the cool stuff we've built with it previously. So it's not limited to like research or just downloading stuff. Here's a game that I actually built. It also built like a SEO content generator. Here it built a full website, deployed it, and it's live on a subdomain. As you can see, even like found images of me, my team, personalized information about our testimonials, etc. And then start using those to build out a website. Here's another example. So this was an AI growth calculator, and it basically went off and just built out and deployed a calculator with links to our funnels, which we can use for lead gen. This was a quiz that it built. This is another game. So it's like a kind of Space Invaders style game for SEO. It actually translated my whole website to French as well. And then this was like a 3JS runner game that we built with Genspark as well. Right, pretty crazy. And this, you can also do research reports. So for example, when the DeepSeek R2 leaks came out, I built out this research report and it just went off. It actually grabbed some screenshots and images from the web about this particular topic, went off, deployed it on a genspark.space subdomain, and boom, we're ready to go, right? So if we go back to AI Drive now, you can see the Google AI search guidelines section, and it's got the PDF documents from what we looked for before. We can download those. Right, so we've got the documents ready to download. If we open them up, that is the file that we downloaded from Google's website, right? It's crazy. This is like a publicly downloadable PDF, by the way. Like you always want to be making sure that you're doing this ethically and download it. Anything that you download should be done ethically. Like don't do any crazy stuff with this, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. But essentially, you can see how powerful it is for like a web scraping tool that can take files and then just go off and automate stuff, right? Really cool. So if we go back to my files, that'll be automatically updated as the AI agent goes off. We've got the files with the images, everything else over here. Now, you know, what you could do as well, I think you could probably reference your drive and then use that to find stuff as well. So for example, we say, okay, using my AI drive and the images in the Julian Goldie folder, show me the images you've collected. I don't know if this will directly link to the AI drive, but I'm interested to test this out. It's like, can it retrieve files from the AI drive? So it's interesting here. So it's actually said, I'll help you check the images in your AI drive, Julian Goldie folder. Let me access that for you. It's looking through the directory. So it's got all my folders right here. And then it's like, right, I found the folder with Julian Goldie About Me images. And then it's retrieving the images from the downloads, right? So if we open this up, we've got the image it downloaded from Genspark over here. So it's pretty crazy because it can also retrieve images and files and that sort of thing. Now, why would that be interesting? Well, for example, if we took that now and those images that we created, right? We'll stop that and we'll say, okay, build a nice landing page using these images of Julian Goldie plus his funnel links below. Right, and then I'll put my funnel links underneath, so the pages I want to direct traffic to. And then we should be able to take those images from Google Drive, reference them in our prompt, not from Google Drive, from AI Drive, reference them in our prompt, and then build something using it, and then also personalize it with our links. So if we get into like so, let's see what we get. So it's like, right, I'd be happy to create a landing page using Julian Goldie's images and funnel links. This will require some time and credits to build a professional HTML page. Would you like me to proceed? It's just going off and doing its magic. And then it will take the image URLs and start building, right? Pretty crazy. The other cool thing, like if you've not used this already, this is one of my favorite new features from Genspark, which is the AI Sheets option. So inside AI Sheets, for example, we can say, right, research SEO agencies that would buy my backlinks and resell them, white label, right? And so we can use Genspark for not just scraping the web and downloading files, but also for lead generation and taking information from the web and then using that to build stuff out, right? So with Genspark, we've got that creating the table, going off. It's going to now build out the column headers, and it will just build us a database with the leads from its research. So you can see it's created this table automatically. So it's like, right, agency name, white label services, backlink focus, website. You can also ask it to gather like phone numbers and email addresses as well if you want to. But essentially that is a very powerful feature from Genspark where you can just go off, scrape the web for information, and then use it for lead generation later. So for example, it's looking on my friend's agency, so it links a lot actually, which is interesting. But you can see it's filling out the information. Again, like I'm not touching this or typing this or anything like that. It's just going off, doing its magic, and finding all the relevant agencies that we could potentially resell to, right? Now, you could view or export that information. So if you click on view or export over here, we've got that ready to go. What would be interesting as well actually is like, if I stop that, I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try it. So we'll say, okay, download this to my AI drive. Let's see if it will do that. And by the way, if you want like 100 examples of what this can do, I've actually included 100 examples inside the AI SEO Success Lab. This is completely free, link in the comments description, and you just go to the Genspark section. The other thing you can do is you can publish this, share it online, share it to Twitter, whatever you want. But yeah, really powerful. It doesn't seem to be able to download it to AI Drive. I wasn't sure if that was going to work because it's using a separate tool. But you can see how easy that was, right? I'm just going to stop the task there. And you can see how powerful that is. El Sueño Mexicano says, why does he have noise cancelling headphones? Mainly just so that I can stay focused. I tend to find like if I do YouTube videos with headphones on, I can focus and speak a lot more articulately than I would normally. And also like I don't get distracted by any noise in the background or anything like that. Right? And then also inside Genspark, you got image generation, you got AI chat, you got generate video production, all these different advanced agents as well, including the agency fact check. So it's pretty crazy what you can do on there, but I think the download drive feature is one of the most powerful now, and you can see everything that we've downloaded here so far. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to 100 different use cases for using this, all the relevant links, examples of what we build, etc., then feel free to get that inside the AI Success Lab. This comes with a free course and all the latest updates on AI, and also a community of 5,700 people. It's completely free to join. We're giving away free stuff every single day inside the community as well. And then if you want to get coaching support, if you want to get more help, more hands-on advice, etc., then join the AI Profit Boardroom. This is community focused on making money. This really just for the serious entrepreneurs, right? So like the guys who are really focused on scaling their business and serious about scaling their business, this is where they go. And you can see how much more valuable the community is. For example, people posting all the time, giving tips, asking for help. You also get all of our best automations, including a crash course on exactly how we've implemented AI into the business. And also you get weekly coaching calls, right? So you can jump on these weekly coaching calls, ask for any help. And in between, not just that, you can actually DM us and ask for any help or advice along the way, right? So it's a lot more hands-on. That's really the value of this. It's like, if you want support, if you want help, if you want coaching, this is the place to go, and it's super cheap for what you get, you know? So thanks very much for watching. Feel free to get the AI Success Lab. That's completely free. Link in the comments description. Feel free to join the AI Profit Boardroom. Appreciate you watching. Cheers. See what questions we got here. No real questions right now. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as we go along, peeps. ChatGPT have just launched a new update, launching a research preview of Codex, which is basically like a cloud-based software engineering agent that can work on like tons of different tasks in parallel. So you can get access to it via chatgpt.com/Codex. It is available for ChatGPT Pro right now, but they're planning to release it to Plus users as well. If you want to see an example of how it works, let's pull this up and I'll show you how it works step by step. So this is the video from ChatGPT on exactly how it works. So you would just go to Codex in the top left, as you can see, and then this is what it looks like, right? Now, basically what this is designed to do is kind of act as a software engineer that can then go off and fix bugs for you, work on different projects, etc., right? So you can see here, for example, Codex agents build features, answer code-based questions, run tests, and draft PRs, all asynchronously, right? So you can have multiple different agents working on a software problem or working on different parts of the software as you go along. It's pretty cool. I really like the UI. This has just come to ChatGPT, as I said, and this is basically like an autonomous coding agent. Now, in terms of what it can do, so it can, for example, like draft GitHub PRs in parallel. It can navigate your code base, really good for like finding bugs, reviewing code and suggesting improvements. It can run lint and tests. By the way, if you're not sure what any of this means or it sounds technical, don't worry. I'll break it down for you in a minute in very simple terms. And it's powered by a new coding model. This is really interesting as well. So it's fine-tuned to work in large code bases. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how does that work, or what, you know, how can you use it, etc. So you can see on the Open Router, they've just released. This literally just came out, May the 16th. OpenAI Codex Mini, right? And essentially Codex Mini latest is a fine-tuned version of O4 Mini, which is one of the most powerful models, specifically for use in Codex CLI. For direct use in the API, we recommend using GPT 4.1. You can actually go into the chat section over here and use it. It is available in ChatGPT Pro. You can see what apps are currently using this as well. And so you can use the API version, or you can use the direct chat version, and it looks exactly like this. So you can connect it directly to GitHub as well, which is pretty cool. And then this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to install an authorized ChatGPT connector. And this is basically linking GitHub directly to ChatGPT connector, as you can see. And then once you're in there, you can create your starting environment. So you can basically pick a repo from your GitHub account, and you can customize the environment later, take the repository, and then edit and improve different parts of your code. So for example, here's some examples of a few tasks to get started. So you can ask it to explain the code base to a newcomer. You know, for example, like what is the general structure, etc. You can pick a part of the code base that seems important, and you can go through your code base and find issues and propose like one task to fix a typo, one task to fix a bug, etc. And that's what they mean by like asynchronous agents, because you can have multiple different software engineering agents all working on different parts, different tasks at the same time. Typically, it takes, I think, around 2 minutes to 30 minutes to generate each response, but this is basically what it looks like. I really like the UI as well. It looks really nice. You can see different tasks generating down here. And then you can say, right, pick a part of the code base that seems important and find a bug. Here's an example. It will start, download the repo, and then it will set up a separate environment here, picking apart the code base, and then fixing bugs. So it's like, right, I'm reviewing the instructions in agents.md to guide my edits and will inspect directories. I'm diving into the src/agents directory to see what's inside. It's going off, working its magic, etc. So that's pretty much it in terms of the code base, how it works, etc. Again, you can see this was just announced. So they've said we're launching a research preview of Codex, and it's rolling out to pro, enterprise, and team users in ChatGPT starting today, and will be coming out to plus users soon. Now, if you're wondering what it looks like, etc., here's an example. This is the official OpenAI.com article on it. And basically what this is supposed to be is like a cloud-based engineering agent. Now, this is really interesting because if you haven't seen it already, Windsurf, I did a video about it yesterday, but Windsurf have just launched a new software engineering model called SWE, right? And SWE seems very similar to this, but the difference here, right, if we go to Windsurf Wave 9, is that, well, it's interesting here because, you know, Windsurf are supposed to be getting acquired by ChatGPT, but in the same week, they've both released a model for software engineering. Now, either that's a coincidence or they're going up against each other. I can't figure out, but very interesting times right now. So as you can see right here, they said Codex is powered by Codex 1, a version of OpenAI O3 optimized for software engineering. It was trained using reinforcement learning on real-world coding tasks in a variety of environments to generate code that closely mirrors human style and PR preferences. Here's an example of what it looks like, how it works, etc. Really nice, clean UI, as you can see. And then if you want to see some benchmarks, here you go. So it's comparing Codex 1 versus O3 High. And the benchmarks are very similar over here. OpenAI internal SWE tasks. Here's the benchmarks. And they've also got an interesting part on like building safe and trustworthy agents. And they've compared Codex responses versus OpenAI O3 responses directly. Now, also, they've talked about use cases, right? So one of the biggest use cases here is like technical teams at OpenAI have started using Codex as part of their daily toolkit. So it's used by OpenAI engineers to offload repetitive tasks, well-scoped tasks like refactoring, renaming, writing tests, etc., fixing bugs, writing components, drafting documentation. So it's quite interesting to see this. You've basically got like an agentic software engineer in the cloud, and even if you can't code, you can still improve your code and debug it as well. They've also got this guide for Codex in ChatGPT. And you can allow yourself to toggle this on, right? So if you go to chatgpt.com/settings, go into your settings. Obviously, you need to be on the Pro plan, and then you can toggle Codex on, like you can see right here. And everything is inside a self-contained network isolated container, right? Which means that it's designed for safety and also to avoid any sort of issues. Also, they've also answered the FAQ, which is like, do you train your models based on my usage of Codex? And they've said for ChatGPT team, enterprise, and edu users, we do not train models on your Codex content. For users on other plans, model training depends on whether you've allowed that to happen or not, right? So if you want to protect your code, or you don't want to share anything, or don't want to train ChatGPT, then you can change the settings, as you can see right there. Now, let's break this down in terms of what it means, how it works, etc., in simple language. So it's basically a cloud-based AI agent that can handle many coding tasks at once, multitasking for software development, right? It's powered by Codex 1, which is the new API from OpenAI, just got released, as you can see right here. It's basically like GPT-4 technology, but fine-tuned for coding. Now, you might be thinking, okay, why is this interesting? How does this change things, etc.? Well, it's basically a major step forward for AI-assisted coding. So you and your agency can like automate coding tasks, speed up development, etc. And also they've got this completely new Codex interface that lets you interface directly and interact directly with the entire code repository. So you can ask it for, to find bugs and recent changes, fix them automatically, etc. Now, you might be wondering how long does it take. So each Codex task takes between 1 and 30 minutes to complete tasks with real-time progress tracking, provides verifiable logs so you can see exactly what it did. And then also it can follow guidance from your file, right? So if you set up an agents.md, this will basically be like a README for the AI, explaining exactly how to work with your repository. And it looks way cleaner, right? And also improves the quality of your code as well. Now, in terms of real world applications and use cases, so basically you've got like on-call engineers, you can use it to quickly understand, fix bugs from error logs, helps tune alerting systems, acts like a personal software engineering assistant, and allows like multiple different software engineers to start multiple tasks at once. And also it helps like scaffold new projects automatically from natural language commands. So if you want to get access to it, it's available in Pro. You can link it to GitHub, etc. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that tells you how to make money and scale with AI, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. It comes with coaching, support, community. You can ask any questions inside there. You can jump on weekly Q&A calls, and you get access to all of our best automations like so. If you want to get the notes from today, feel free to get that inside the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments description, all the notes right here, plus details on my new NA10 scraper agent, plus Genspark updates as well. This community is full of 5,700 members, completely free, and all the videos that I showed recently, you can get access to the notes inside the AI Success Lab. And then if you want to get more support, if you want to upgrade, etc., then I would recommend checking out the AI Profit Boardroom. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.